Hello and welcome to our Business and Law Faculty live stream. I'm Laura.
And I'm Henrik.
And we're here to talk to you today about our fantastic courses and career opportunities available at DMU.
Whether you're still deciding on whether you want to apply, waiting for offers, or looking to help somebody else with their application, we've got something for everybody.
You'll hear from our academics and our students, and we're going to really talk to you about the opportunities that are available beyond the classroom.
And today we'll be covering law, accounting, finance, business management, and you'll also hear from our award-winning careers team.
And if you have any questions during the live stream, just pop them into the chat and we'll put them towards the panel. So let's kick things off with our law team. So welcome.
Hello.
I'm joined today by Lee, one of our law academics, and two of our students. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Holly, I'm a second year law student at DMU.
Hi, I'm Farzana, I'm a second year law student at DMU.
Thank you for joining us today. And Lee, would you mind giving us a bit about your background and how you came to work at DMU?
Yes, so my name's Lee Hennell. I qualified as a solicitor in 1998. I worked as a solicitor for a dozen years. I became a partner in a law firm in Leicester, and then in 2010 one of my clients, a national retailer, asked me to join them in order to set up their in-house legal department. So I became their head of legal for 8-9 years. Absolutely loved it there. But I joined. Opportunity came to join the teaching team here as a lecturer in 2018. So I joined that teaching team back then, and I'm in my 7th academic year. So yeah, that's my career to date.
Brilliant. So lots of experience in practice.
Yes, yeah.
And I know you're really passionate about employability. And so one of the reasons we've asked you to join us today is to talk about the experiences beyond the law course. And I think something that really encapsulates that really well is the Law Lab Enterprise. Yeah. Do you mind just explaining a little bit about that for me?
So the Law Lab Enterprise is something that we've put together, which is massive. It's a massive package of opportunities for our students. So there are loads of different things within the Law Lab that students can do in order to make themselves more employable. So because of my background, what I'm really passionate about is when employers need to recruit fantastic law students, because I know how good our law students are. Yeah. I really want our law students to have the opportunity to meet employers and to impress them. So that's one small part of the Law Lab Enterprise that I get involved with.
Perfect. And I think to bring it to life and to share with people watching back at home, do you think we could share some of the experience and opportunities that the students have had? Yeah,
absolutely. So the first thing we wanted to tell you about was the first thing we did in the academic year was a competition. So we partner with the Crown Prosecution Service, and the Crown Prosecution Service came to DMU, and some of our students entered an advocacy competition. And the student who won that competition was going to get a week's work experience with the Crown Prosecution Service.
Wow.
And our partners, our friends at the Crown Prosecution Service, they came here, and two of the senior managers judged the competition. And Farzana here entered that competition. So my first question to you is this: how did you feel when you walked into that courtroom?
Well, it was nerve-wracking, but I had to maintain my confidence and my composure. I was there dressed as a lawyer in a courtroom. It was a real courtroom with judges. The Crown prosecutors were the judges, 2 of them, and one of the judges was a committee member from Law Society. But I wasn't expecting the competition to be held in such a way, as it was my first mock trial experience. I persevered to them, and my competition was a bail application regarding a client. And it was my first time presenting anything. I just watched one video from YouTube and I made the draft. I presented it and I answered the counter questions which the judges had, and my client ended up getting the bail.
Yes.
That was a win.
And what did they say? Because from my point of view, I was there. You absolutely smashed it, so well done.
Well, one of the first feedback was from the Crown prosecutor was good eye contact. I felt like I was so nervous that I maintained the eye contact.
Yeah.
Instead of taking my eyes away, and they did mention about my structure and my confidence in answering back the questions, as they did have some really fierce counter questions as why should we believe that your client will be able to maintain. And I spoke on behalf of my client, and it was really nerve-wracking. I can still feel the nerves while talking about it, but it was amazing. As I want to be a barrister, it's going to help in my future a lot.
So yeah, we did the competition.
Yeah.
You were saying to me earlier you were nervous beforehand.
Yeah.
But you won the competition.
I did.
And the prize was?
A 1-week experience with Crown Prosecution Service in Nottingham. That experience itself was something else. It was way better than the competition itself, obviously. I was traveling back and forth to Nottingham. That travel was amazing. That whole week felt like a dream. I was there in Crown Prosecution Service visiting the Magistrate Court and Crown Court with the Crown Prosecutors and how they carry out their work. And we ended the week with why should we choose CPS. After that experience, I was always motivated on becoming a barrister, but it was always a criminal barrister. But after seeing the workload, I think I might have changed my mind. A criminal barrister is not for me. That experience did help me realize that what I'm really interested in, and that's all.
So it helped you to conclude that yes, you definitely want to be a barrister,
Yep.
but not specifically in
A
that
criminal
area of law.
barrister, yeah, it did. I want to be a barrister still. Yeah.
And that's okay, isn't it?
Yeah, it's okay.
But just by going through that experience,
Yeah.
going through the mock trial and the work experience, you've got to that point, and now you know
Yes.
the direction you're going in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Most of the Crown prosecutors we had a chat with, they did not come from criminal backgrounds. Most of them came from different backgrounds like employment law, land law, commercial, corporate, and it's something which they discovered within the journey. So maybe I might change my mind maybe in the future and go into criminal. But for now, I'm not interested in criminal.
And what's really interesting, so there was another student who did this work experience as well, and she decided this is what I want to do, this is exactly what I want to do, and because of the contacts that she'd made through that work experience, she's now got a part-time job as a case handler in
brilliant.
the Leicester office of the Crown Prosecution Service, and she said to me, this is my dream, this is my...
Oh.
So it's things like that that just, you know, it motivates me to just do more
Yeah.
and more with the law lab. So you did the week with the Crown Prosecution
Yes.
Service. We have lots of other things within the law lab where students can also win prizes of work experience. And another thing that we do, which you both got involved with, but I want to ask Holly a few questions about this, is something that we call speed interviewing. So just to give you a bit of background, so speed interviewing is something that employers love, absolutely love this, because they get to meet our students. So what we do is employers come here for 2 hours, and across that 2-hour period they do 10 interviews with students. So they get to meet 10 students, one after the other. Now these interviews are real interviews with real lawyers. So Holly, you joined our speed interviewing event, and you were told that the winners would receive work experience with the various employers. The first employer you interviewed with was?
I interviewed with 2, and the first one was Freeths and the second one was with the CPS.
Yeah.
So the first interview I was absolutely terrified because I've never had sort of like such a formal interview. They were very friendly and very nice, but with an actual solicitors and very high up as well. So that was really good, and I feel like I got my nerves out that one. And then the next day I had one with the CPS, so I was able to sort of refine my CV, and I did a cover letter as well, created one of them, and just to hand it in just to show that I was ready. And then I felt like it flowed a lot better, and my confidence since then, even just normal interviews, has like increased a lot because we got a lot of feedback, and then I was able to use that to sort of move on for further opportunities. So that was really amazing opportunity. So yes, yeah.
So you did the Freeths one the day before, or the event before, and you learnt from that, and you went to the CPS one.
Yes.
And so were the interviewers scary?
No, not as sort of in my head. I had this idea of them sort of like being quite stiff in suits, but they were very friendly, and it's sort of like you start to recognise them after a while, especially being involved in so many law lab events. So it's quite nice just to know them and be a bit more familiar with that environment before finishing as well.
Yeah. Brilliant. What you've just said, I'm going to pick up on that in a moment, because, but on the speed interviews, a lot of students say to me, well, I've never met a real life lawyer before. And also it wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. But you were saying to me earlier that when you went in, you were so nervous, but when you came out, you were really glad you did it.
Yes. Just to have that experience before it sort of, because you're still in a bit of an environment that it's, you know, it's not a real job, you've got a bit of security and you're in a familiar environment, but to have that experience to actually go in and then to have work experience as a result of it is just really an amazing opportunity.
Well done.
So you were also a winner. You were a winner with speed interviews, and you've got work experience with the CPS.
Yes.
But I also want to talk about some other things that we've been doing. We do this thing called Law Connect. And Law Connect is all about our students networking with lawyers. So we do a mentoring scheme. We do a mentoring scheme this academic year. We've had 65 mentors from local employers mentoring our law students.
Brilliant.
But Law Connect is all about networking. So my first question to you guys is, when I say networking, are you relaxed about that?
No, not at all.
Yeah, when I say networking to students, come and network, they normally say, no, I don't want to do that. So what did we do? We did something called the Unnatural Networker, didn't we? And you both came to that?
Yep.
So the Unnatural Networker was here on campus. We did this in partnership with the Leicestershire Law Society. So 30 lawyers from all different firms came along, and about 50, 60 students came along, and we got an external speaker to do 20, 25 minutes, just giving a few tips about networking. And then after he'd given his tips, we said, okay, right, we've now got sandwiches and drinks, everybody, network. And I thought that was a gamble. I wasn't sure how that was going to go, but it was one evening here in November. You know what it's like in November, it gets dark early, and the building was going to be closed at 9 o'clock. So I said to everyone, by the way, we need to be out by 9, and at 8:45, everyone was still chatting, everyone was still networking. So yeah, what did you guys think of that?
Well, I really admired the skills of the external speaker, Charlie Lawson, and I've subscribed to his newsletter, and he keeps emailing me, Farzana, what do you think about unnatural networking? And before that, I would be honest, I'm still scared of networking, because I think it's something you get better by doing it. But after his tips, one thing which struck my mind was they are humans just like you. What are you so scared of, the profession? Well, I think that made it easier. I had a chat with quite a few lawyers on that day, and he's right, we honestly kept on chatting, and we had to be driven out of the building to end. We could just go on and on about chatting. After that, it really did help my confidence in speaking to new people, and this platform is one of the experience. I really appreciate Law Lab's efforts in organizing that event, and I'm really grateful I joined that.
Yeah, I thought we had a lot of fun at that event.
We
that
did.
was really good. And Holly, I just want to go back to one thing you mentioned earlier, because we've only talked about like 3 things that we talked, but Law Lab does loads of things throughout the academic year. And you said to me earlier, and you kind of mentioned it earlier, you've been to quite a few Law Lab events.
Yes.
And what did you say to me earlier?
They're starting to recognise me, and I'm starting to recognise them.
I recognise you too.
Yeah.
When you say they, who are they?
All the solicitors. So
These are local lawyers that recognise you.
And they're in like big national firms, but it's just a bit less intimidating if you're going into any interview, never mind sort of a big networking event like that. Like the first time I was terrified, but I went to an event a few weeks back, and then the head of the Leicestershire Law Society recognised me, and I was able to have a bit of a chat with him, and it was just a really nice experience, and it's just a lot more comfortable and more confident in networking, but also with local solicitors, and that's because of the Law Lab. So it's just a lot less intimidating.
And I want to thank you guys, because I go to these law firms and I say, we've got amazing students, absolutely amazing, and you guys don't let me down. You know, you come along, and just the things you've shared today are just amazing. So yeah,
Thank you so
Yeah,
much
thank
for
you.
joining us today and explaining those. That's brilliant, and best of luck with the future. I know you've been telling me about what you've got planned for the future, and it's very exciting. I'll watch this space. And now we're just going to show a video which explains the Law Lab in a little bit more detail.
Welcome to Leicester de Montfort Law School, home to the innovative Law Lab Enterprise. The Law Lab Enterprise bridges the gap between academic learning and real-world legal practice, giving students hands-on experience to excel in their careers. It is built around 5 key areas. The Justice Clinic provides live casework experience with local lawyers and charities, helping students develop practical skills while supporting access to justice. DMU connects students with professionals through mentoring, networking events and competitions like Tiger's Temple. Aspiring barristers can also take part in the Bar Futures programme. The Law Academy offers short courses focused on essential professional skills, including training at our Conflict Resolution Centre. Law Global prepares students for international careers through collaborations with universities worldwide. And the Law Lounge fosters social and professional connections through podcasts, book clubs, and a student buddy scheme. The Law Lab Enterprise is designed to give students real-world experience, industry connections, and the power skills to thrive in legal practice. Come and discover the Law Lab Enterprise at Leicester de Montfort Law School, where we are redefining legal education.
And like magic, it's now time for accounting and finance. A great choice for anyone looking to pursue a career within the financial services. And we're joined by Neil, one of our academics. Neil, a good place to start would be, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background.
Yeah, no
before we
problem.
started at DMU, I guess.
So I'm a chartered certified accountant. I've worked in both industry and practice, and I moved into teaching 25 years ago. So I've taught in both private sector and public sector. And the reason I got into teaching was because I have dyslexia. So I wanted to help students to achieve the success they can achieve in a way that I was able to help them achieve that. So that's how I got into teaching a long time ago.
Oh, amazing. It was very rewarding then. I know our course involves a lot of, or has a lot of, academic exemptions. Can you talk us through what that means and sort of why it's important for students?
Yeah, so a number of the professional bodies, so ACCA, CIMA, ICAEW, CPA Australia, they have exemptions with the university. So as long as a student completes those modules within their programme, they can gain maximum exemptions, which means when they leave university, they can progress on to a more or a higher level qualification, which is recognised within the industry. Employers like that because it means the employer doesn't have to necessarily fund as many of those modules when they leave university. Also means the time allocation that they have to release a student for is reduced as well. So it's a massive benefit for the students, and it allows them to stand out in the marketplace. So when they graduate with thousands of other students, they actually have that edge in front of those students.
Do you think it's something that's often overlooked where students are looking to make their decisions? Do you think it's something they don't necessarily consider enough?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you come to university, you know what you want to study, but you don't necessarily understand or think that far ahead. So we're here to try and help them, and also our careers team help them to understand what the benefit is for them by achieving those exemptions and carrying those exemptions forward.
Oh, amazing. I think another benefit for our students is obviously our block teaching model. Would you be able to sort of talk us through that, how it looks for your course?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what the benefits of that are?
Yeah, so traditionally in a university you'd study a number of subjects over an academic year. With the block model focuses on one module at a time. So you have 6 weeks tuition, then you have a week of revision and the actual assessments. And the idea of that is you're not disadvantaged by having to learn lots of different subjects all at once. So you can learn one subject, sit the examination, and then move on to the next subject after a week's break. Benefits for the students, they don't have to focus on lots of different subjects at one time. So you can focus on one subject and really get into that and understand the nitty-gritty aspects. And from an accounting perspective, that's really beneficial. And it's beneficial because a lot of the accounting subjects are very technical, so it allows you to focus primarily on that one subject at a time. So it's a massive advantage for students. Students with neurodiverse needs as well, it really helps those students be able to focus without having to try to switch and change between different subject areas as well.
Yeah, I think definitely. When I studied here at DMU, I did traditional sort of teaching style and method, examination, all your exams at the end, and coursework intimately through the year. I think I'd have probably benefited from block.
I think I would have done as well.
I think it tends to help a lot of students, which is fantastic. A massive thing about our course is our brand new, our fairly new trading floor.
Yes.
Talk us about that trading floor.
Yeah, so we've got a fantastic facility. It's trading floor, which it's a state-of-the-art space. It allows for more immersive learning, so students actually get hands-on. I know when I learn something new, to actually physically have your hands on doing things, it helps me to learn a lot easier rather than just all of the theoretical aspects. So getting into a trading room and using that space is brilliant. So as I say, it's state-of-the-art space. There are 48 terminals within there. The terminals have repeater screens, so you don't have to necessarily keep looking up at what the lecturer's doing because you can see what they're doing on their screen. It has both Bloomberg and LSEG software platforms within it, so it means students have the same experience as you would do if you were in a trading environment, and it's live data as well, so the students are actually seeing what all professionals around the world are seeing within those platforms. As I say, that real-time data is really beneficial because it's not just for finance aspects. They can use it for researching companies, they can use it for lots of different areas, and also other areas within the university can use it as well because of the data that's available. So it does create that more hands-on space. We've even got ticker tape screens, so you can actually see ticker tapes trailing across the screen, which are live and they're linked into the platforms. And also those repeater screens are really useful for the students as well.
What would you say to those students that have maybe never experienced that type of software before they start?
I hadn't, I'm going to be quite honest, I hadn't. So when we were introduced to the trading room and the trading floor area, I actually went in and it blew me away. I actually did the BMC certification, which is the certification students have the ability to actually participate in. I actually did that to understand how the trading platforms worked. We also have trading competitions, so students can come in and participate in those. So it gives them this massive advantage over students that have never seen this sort of area. And whether you want to do it or not, it's really interesting to get in and get involved in that environment.
Amazing, thanks Neil. I think probably take a look at the trading floor now. We'll play a short video. Thank you.
Brilliant.
I am thrilled to share with you a remarkable investment by Leicester Castle Business School. We have created a revolutionary new space for our undergraduate and postgraduate students. This state-of-the-art facility is located in the Hugh Aston building and was created to empower the next generation of work-ready finance professionals. The trading floor is an immersive environment designed for students across our accounting, finance and economics programs to provide a great learning experience. We have 48 terminals, making it one of the largest university trading floors in the UK. It features 2 large teaching screens, 2 ticker tape screens for live news coverage, and 6 repeater screens. It is a collaborative working space that fosters learning and interaction between our students, enhancing their analytical and decision-making skills. The terminals are equipped with industry-leading software such as Bloomberg and LSEG Workspace, providing students with access to the same information platforms used by global businesses, finance leaders, and government decision-makers around the world. Students will gain a better understanding of trading equities, portfolio management, investment banking, corporate finance, and financial and economic analyses. We also offer support from our expert teaching team who have a wealth of experience in areas such as investment management, FX hedging, financial advice, real estate forecasting, and financial accounting. Students will have the opportunity to cultivate their knowledge and skills in real-life trading scenarios using real-time data from financial markets. The trading floor is a pivotal asset in equipping our students with the key skills employers seek in today's competitive job market. You can find all the details on our website about our accounting, finance and economics programs, and we look forward to welcoming you to campus soon.
So next up is business management, and we're joined today by David. Welcome.
Hello everyone.
Thank you for joining us. Would you like to just tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to work at DMU?
So my background is strictly related to innovation management, entrepreneurship, and with key essence into crowdsourcing. And I happened to finish my PhD at the University of Portsmouth, and I'm now a lecturer here at DMU in business management.
Brilliant. So we're going to just spend a bit of time now talking about business management. For students watching from home, why do you think a student should choose to study business management?
Very interesting question. Honestly, I think business management is a specialized program that allows students to benefit from various areas. I think the major point is students identifying how to add value with managing resources and employees and people. But at the same time, here at DMU, we do specialize a lot of, I think, intricate things that differentiates us from the competition. So students get the experience of coming into an international culture with varying amounts of students from different parts of the world. Students also get to experience the fact that they do not only get the advantage of education, but are also able to implement them with opportunities like from DMU Made, DMU Global Trips, collaborations with organizations in terms of placement. And these are opportunities that students can select across the 3 years that they do have here at DMU. Aside from that, I think business management does have a range of different programs that allows students to go through the journey of learning the key pivotal subjects and modules that they can very much apply and fulfill that transformational experience at the end.
Yeah, as someone that's studied business management in the past, I think one thing that's good about it is you get an opportunity to do different areas of business, so you get to learn which areas of interest to you. So yeah, that's really useful. Just touching on, we're trying to touch on things that are outside the classroom. So how do we bring the course to life? Like, how do we engage with industry? What opportunities are there for students?
So I think what is vital though is for a student coming in to study here, you have that vision of where you see yourself in the coming future. So the idea really is you are not necessarily just coming to study, but you're very much seeing how you're going to develop over the years into something you've always wanted to be. In terms of how that translates to the DMU experience, I think we do have live case studies. We do have collaborations with organizations that allow students to now apply theoretical elements. I mean, tons of individuals and students have actually gone on to study, but then in between their experience, for example, they've gone on to work at organizations like Enterprise Rent-A-Car, where they took that gap year, and when they came back after, they showed true immense confidence coming back from that experience of not just studying but applying that knowledge in their chosen field of endeavor. And there are many more of those opportunities that come up. You have the front runner program, you have like I said, I think placement opportunities, but these things are what bring the DMU program, business management program, to life. I think overall we do have the block teaching approach, which allows students to actually focus on one module at a time and allows that focused approach for students to experience education fully.
Perfect, thank you. And just to go back to your point about placement, so what does a placement look like? Is that when students go and study for a year? Is that after their second year? So in their third year, then they would come back for their final year, is that right?
Oh yeah, I think you kind of mapped out clearly. Honestly, so an educational program at DMU for business management is for 3 years, and the placement is right in between the level 5 going into their, so from level 4 going into their level 5, they would technically be able to select and apply for their placement opportunities to now, well, if they get granted, they definitely get on to, I would say, suspend that level 5, time, and then that is being replaced with a placement opportunity. And then when they come back, they continue on with their second year, third year, and then go on to have that last year, which would mean they have 4 years here with us.
And do you notice a difference between the students that have been on placement when they come back for their final year?
Yeah, tremendous. I mean, the one thing that stands out clearly is confidence, But other things as well is the fact that they're able to express themselves more clearly. They're able to communicate. They're able to see the relationship between what is being spoken about in lectures and see that, oh, in a realistic sense, this is how it applies. This are the steps involved. Things just done sequentially, or things spoken about in class is actually done sequentially. It's not just all mumbled up. So these kind of things in that industrial experience allow students to benefit and develop themselves into passionate professional people.
We've got our careers team coming up shortly, so I think they can touch on placements in a little bit more detail, but thank you for that. It's useful to know that students can take part in a placement across all the programmes in business and law. Okay, would you like to give any advice to students that are considering joining us for business management?
Advice. So what I could say is, aside from the fact that you're coming to get an education here, we do have opportunities like competitions, like the BizSpark competition, that allows students to participate in real-life case study competitions. And what that means is they very much pitch the ideas to companies in terms of solutions or projects that they're working on. And then that actually gives them the opportunity to see how this applies to companies, because these companies give them feedback. I happen to experience a student who won 3rd place in the BizSpark competition, and I believe that was a worthwhile experience because it was at that moment she realized that she could now see herself as a professional before even graduating. So what I would say is, coming here to study at DMU, you're not only just getting that knowledge and education, but you're also implementing it. And that also means you are noticing how to add value in whatever opportunity you identify.
Brilliant. And I think now we're going to play a short clip of one of our students that's recently been on placement, and she's going to share some top tips on how she found the placement experience and advice for future students.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Kaur. I'm a final year accounting and business management student here at De Montfort University. As part of my course, I undertook a placement year at Pfizer, the global pharmaceutical company. My role was in the HR team at Pfizer, where I worked on recruiting undergraduates who wanted to do a placement year at Pfizer. So that means working with a lot of CVs, working on a lot of interviews. Over my time there, I recruited over 86 undergraduates for Pfizer and then also worked on a lot of other HR duties.
Hi, my name's Farah Abdullah and I'm a final year student studying business and marketing at De Montfort University. As a part of my course, I took a placement year after my 2nd year. I did my placement year at Amatec GB. So Amatec GB is a parent company that has 150 different business units and which specializes in engineering. My role was a field marketing specialist, and what I did was helped 50 different business units in the UK. Any exhibition needs, any digital needs that they needed, I basically provided it for them.
The careers team actually told me what the placement year means, all the opportunities that are available there and how I can get those opportunities. They obviously help you with the usual things of running over your CV, helping you prepare for the interviews, helping you find the right role for you. But at the end of the day, it's also good to have a bunch of people who know what you're trying to do and who are always there to support you, who are there to give you words of encouragement and kind of tell you that you can do it. So yeah, I would say make use of the careers team because they are the right bunch of people who can help you get a placement year if that's something you really want.
So before applying to my placement, I booked a few meetings with the careers team, and they were honestly so helpful, so amazing. They actually encouraged me to apply for that specific job role that I applied to. And the deadline was actually on that day. So as soon as I finished that meeting, I went home and I applied straight away and I actually got it. They were honestly amazing, so encouraging and motivating, and they supported me throughout the whole way. If you're thinking of applying for a placement year, please, my one advice would be don't give up. Please don't be discouraged. Rejections are bound to happen. Please don't be demotivated by any rejections that you get. And no matter what, just keep going, because you never know, somebody might reply to you and just say, congratulations, you've got this placement.
So my advice to anyone who's trying to get a placement year is don't give up and don't undermine yourself. Don't feel like you don't have the experience or the right skills. If you want something, work hard for it. You might get no's on the way. Just remember those no's. You have to go through a certain number of no's to get to that one final yes. So there is a role out there for you. You just have to keep on applying. You just don't have to give up and work hard, and you'll get one that you really want to get.
Okay, we'll wrap things up by talking about our award-winning career service. We're joined by James and Ian. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, certainly. So my name's James, Career Development Manager for the Business and Law faculty at Dartmouth University. So my role involves supporting students through sort of one-to-one appointments, giving careers advice. I build links with employers, get employers sort of integrated into the services that we run, and work closely with academic staff to bring that all together for students.
Hi everyone. Hi guys. My name is Ian. I am a final year student studying advertising, marketing, communications. It's a long title. I'm also a career ambassador currently and a student ambassador. I'm also a committee of both societies, of Investment Society and Demon Media.
Before you guys get started with your questions from Henrik, we've had a question come in on the live stream. So I'm just going to send this to you, James, if that's okay.
Yep.
So what are the best skills and traits employers will be looking for in a solicitor?
Interesting. So I think solicitor is certainly one of the key areas within the business and law faculty. So it's something that I see a lot of. We've got lots and lots of law students that are always looking to go down that route. Into speaking to many of the different firms and companies and stuff like that, a lot of the time what they're always looking for are the transferable skills. They're looking a lot for students that can demonstrate strong teamwork skills, the ability to communicate successfully, a bit of problem solving in there as well. Most importantly, they're going to be people that are dealing with clients. And you'll see actually a lot of the time you'll even have a lot of transferable stuff that comes from, say, part-time jobs in retail, or actually dealing with customers, dealing with people all the time. What the employers want to see is that kind of demonstrable ability to deal with people, communicate with clients, and showcase those skills. So, yeah.
Thank you for that.
That's great, thank you. Yeah, and obviously just to reiterate, we are a live stream, so if any questions that you have for us, please do send them in for what's left of the stream, I guess. James, back to you again. I did mention at the start that DMU has now won back-to-back awards for the Careers and Placement team. Can you tell us what that award is, or what those awards are, and what really sets DMU apart?
Yep, so we have won the Best University for Work Experience and Internships. We've run that two years in a row. So with that being the case, I mean, one of the main reasons that we're winning those awards is we've got such a varied careers service. So we do a lot of different things that tailor for a lot of different students. So depending on different backgrounds, we've got different options and different routes and things that we support with. So just for example, we have a designated placement team within each faculty that can help support students looking for a sandwich placement. We've got careers teams that help support students. That's where I am myself. And we help support students throughout their journey with all sorts of stuff, as I say, on CVs, interviews. We get employers to come onto campus. We run like set recruitment days, so students can come along, they can meet the employers, they can speak with them and hopefully gain opportunities off the back of that. So this year we've helped over sort of 20-30 students actually gain direct work experience with employers through those. We have Careers Fair and an employer engagement team that help bring together large-scale events for our students to enjoy. Then we've got sort of our centralised services as well. So we've got an individual called Andy Morris who runs Inside Edge Mentoring, helps connect students to an industry mentor so they can have that one-to-one support. A lot of the time as well, students are probably coming to university, they can be 18, 19 years old, not always very well connected, and actually a bit of networking, bit of mentoring with a direct person from industry can be a really good tool for them. We've got an entrepreneurship team, so they're called DMU Made. So any students who've got their own business ideas that want to bring those to fruition, they help support with all of that. Our Unitemps department that can help with part-time jobs. So overall, there's a whole heap of different things, and I should mention our internships team as well, who run a couple of different funded schemes for students to undertake while they're studying. I know Ian's on one of those at the moment, so I'm sure he'll come on to that in a little bit. But yeah, we've got such a varied array of things that students can get involved in, and I think that's what helps set us apart from a lot of other universities.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely amazing. Obviously, congratulations to you and your team. Obviously, sounds like you do amazing work, and hopefully we can make it a hat-trick of,
yes, definitely,
of wins in the future.
We'll be striving for that this year.
Yeah, about that. So Ian, I understand you've got involved with quite a lot of stuff as a student, so you've really made the most of your opportunities, obviously as a student, and then ambassador, careers ambassador, you've done a placement.
Yes.
Can you just talk about all your sort of what you've got involved with and how you think that might help you in the future in terms of getting a job after you graduate?
Yeah, of course. I mean, so I first got a placement through working in the careers team. So that was through my second year. So every students get this option now. It's an optional choice that you can do during your 3 years. So you can basically extend that to 4 years. And the nice thing about that is that you get to not only work and get a taste for what the industry is like, but if you don't like it, you can come back to university and kind of rethink that before you go into working again. And the nice thing is working in this role has really taught me a lot about what I'm good, what I'm bad, and more just found my sort of strong suit in what I want to venture into. So in this case, it's more on social media, more on the creative side. Obviously, I do study it, but sometimes it could be the case where I may want to do something more businessy, which could be the case for some students. And I've realized that it's something that will only be learned through experiences, and that's what placement has really taught me a lot about. You know, even the simple thing about keeping it consistent, deadlines. Students are notoriously, you know, with deadlines, there's always going to be something that they wait last minute, but these kind of things you learn throughout the job. It's like, well, okay, well, I need to make sure if I'm working in a team, it's not I'm relying on myself. Your team needs to know everything that you're doing, and you have to be consistent in that sense. So all of that together has really taught me a lot, and that has led me to obviously internships. And I have to add, obviously working in placement has pushed me to network with more employers. In this case, we had a few employers that come in, so thanks to the careers team for doing that. And with that has basically directly brought me to a summer internship, which without that and without my sort of drive to push myself out there and doing this, I wouldn't have got this internship. So I think if this is a good example where if you do placement, if you put yourself out there, even if it's a front runner, even if it's a ACE internship, it can really get you into places as long as you just introduce yourself, talk to people. These kind of things is what adds up. And I guess to answer your final question is, I would love to hopefully get into social media, marketing, digital marketing. So hopefully at some point you might see me on social media.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
But yeah.
Yeah, and we've just had a question come in actually, asking for advice on websites for how they'd find out about work experiences and networking. I don't know whether we want to focus about how we advertise our work experiences to students, so how they'd find out about them.
Yeah, so I guess there's a lot of different key websites. So we have like a little website library that we share a lot with students. So we have our own platforms, so something called My Gateway that students are able to access. Through there, it advertises lots of different positions and opportunities. Our employer engagement team, as I say, they get employers who are coming to them with opportunities all the time. And as soon as they get anything that would be, say, business and law related, that will get passed on to myself for me to integrate into our service. We'll help promote that out to students through like their student learning zones and different areas that they will have access to. But in addition to that, we have sort of some key websites. So there's like Rate My Placement as a key one for sandwich placements. We have Target Jobs that we partner a lot with. So we actually have a lot of the stuff that's advertised on My Gateway comes through Target Jobs as well. There is Graduate Jobs as a general website. There's a whole heap of them. I've got a nice little library that I share with students all the time. But lots of key websites that we tell them to look out for. In addition, LinkedIn is a huge thing now, and making sure that they have LinkedIn profiles. They're actively looking at individuals who are maybe quite active on the LinkedIn site, that are from the specific area that they might have interest in. So I have my feed is full now of different industry professionals who are giving talks and giving information about how they've progressed in their career, the sort of stuff that they're doing. So there's a lot of support that's out there. But a lot of the time, getting those work experience opportunities, getting those internships is about knowing people, about knowing yourself, and about knowing the skills that you've got, and being able to articulate that out there. That's going to be the key to getting that. But that's where we're here to support as a team. So we have an open door policy in our office. Students can pop by Monday to Friday, 9 till 5. Just walk into the door, and through there we can help and support and direct.
Lovely, thank you for answering that. So do you want to add something?
Yeah, can I just add to that? So what James said with LinkedIn, I think that's sort of like the new way to kind of create that portfolio for students. And a lot of the times students are wondering, why am I not getting this job? Why the employers are not seeing that I have this skill? If you have that LinkedIn sort of built up with different experiences, so like the things that I've done, it doesn't have to be only a placement. It could be literally anything. It could just be a project that you've done in a group work. And just by having it there, and if you've used that tool to network, that can kind of put you in a position where I'm not just showing you my CV or telling you that I am a dynamic student, but I am actually, because you've seen all of my projects in the past, and you know, they can kind of just go off of that, because that's kind of what that's kind of how I got the internship. Because throughout the interview, when I was talking to Alex, which is basically the company CEO, and he's basically went, "Oh yes, I remember. Yeah, I saw your LinkedIn. Yeah, you know, I saw what you've done. So actually, you know what, that makes more sense." And that basically gave me the competitive edge to get that job. So
going
I think
above and beyond and,
exactly.
and showing you really want it. Yeah.
And you've mentioned things like LinkedIn, like as a service. Can you help students with things like LinkedIn and various other platforms if they're not sure, you know, need a bit of advice, that type of thing?
Yep. So we have masterclass suites that we run. So we run sessions on a whole variety of topics. One of those is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So we can help students with the creation of their profile. There's something called an all-star rating that you can get as well, which I don't know the statistics off the top of my head, but I think it's something like makes you 40 times more likely to be spotted by a recruiter.
43.
43. There we go. So if you can get your profile to all-star level, it's that. All students get access to LinkedIn Learning, and there's a program through LinkedIn Learning called Rock Your Profile. And that basically, you follow the basics of all of that. You put your profile together, be active on the platform, connect with individuals, and from there it kind of all just snowballs, if you like. So.
Amazing. So you literally support students with basically everything you could think of,
yes,
don't you?
We do.
I do have one last question for you both. So I think you've both sort of done placement years, that type of thing. We offer sandwich courses for all of our undergraduate business and law programs. Would you recommend that's something that all students should maybe look to do?
Yeah. Do you want me to say this first?
Yeah.
So, yes, absolutely. Sandwich placement is probably the most impactful thing that a student can do for their career journey while they're at university. If I go back to my time at university, it was a while ago now, I think 2010, graduated 2014. But I did a placement year. That was the biggest thing that I did. When I was actually searching for universities in the first place, I wanted to find a university that came with that option to do a placement year, because I knew how important, in addition to getting a degree, having 1 year's worth of industry experience would be for me to kind of progress forwards. And I've got a nice little story, I guess, of while I was actually on placement. I was working for a company called Tourism for All, disability charity. They have like a website, so if anybody's got a disability and they might want to go on a holiday or go on a trip somewhere, you can sort of have a look through their website, have a look through the listings, and it will come up with, if you have a hearing loop, here's all the different places you can visit that have the best sort of facilities. So it was a really interesting company to work for. But in the second week that I was working there, they sent me to the NEC, and they made me stand on a stand for about 2,000 people wandering around, and I felt so uncomfortable. I felt so out of place. I think at one point I was hiding behind a pillar, trying to avoid people kind of giving me that eye contact. And luckily, because I did a 1 year placement, come the end of it, they actually had moved the date forward a couple of weeks the following year. So the last week of my placement was that event 1 year on. And in that year, I'd done so many different things to kind of grow myself, my confidence, my skills. I knew so much more about myself and who I was. I was actually proactively getting people to come to the stand. I was talking to them in detail about what we did, how we can support. I was a different person. And then when it then comes to applying for that graduate job and looking at that at the end of it, all of a sudden I know all of these skills, I know all of these things, and I wouldn't have known that if I didn't do that year. So it was such a powerful tool for me when I was trying to break through into the graduate market. So I would hugely recommend it. Yeah.
I actually had something to say in my mind, but it kind of just left as you finished.
That's fine.
But kind of reiterating what he said and what I've said before, it's just trying to create more evidence when it comes to your skills. So by doing placement, I would definitely recommend it. Actually, it came back to my head now. So there's always going to be the question working as a career ambassador. So I get queries from different students all the time, and international students and home students always ask me the same question. Is it limited to a specific, are you, does like international students, does it matter, or home students, do they get an advantage? I feel like that's all just to make you feel a little bit more like, how do I put this? It's what people will tell you when they don't get the job, right? But I would like to at least say that I am international, so I'm not from here. And if I can do it, obviously anyone can. I think any one of you can, definitely. It's more of the dedication and how you can kind of put, instead of just on paper, but into action, and kind of portray it out from your actions. And in that interview, you know, if you've practiced a lot with the careers team, using the STAR technique, making sure that, you know, you're not just saying that I can do this, but evidencing. I've said that many times, but it is to evidence it. And that's why the LinkedIn is there. That's why going to these sessions will help you create more scenarios that you can do that. And it's identifying yourself throughout placement, whether you want to do, whether it's social media or whether it's law. Do you want to be a solicitor, barrister, or do you want to just do family? There's so many different ways you can do it. And I've seen students where they are studying art and they thought it has to be art related, but no, actually you can do marketing, you can do a business placement, and they've done that before. And I've seen a student do that and they are enjoying it. And in fact, that got them to think, actually, I want to do marketing now because this is actually really cool. And that's the beauty of placement.
Did you do placement?
I did, yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
No, I didn't do one. I'm a bit gutted. I wish I did. It's one of those things.
Yeah, I'm really
slight
passionate
regrets.
about it.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously, like I was saying, all our undergraduate business and law courses, you can do a placement year in industry. Clearly, plenty of value in it. Would always recommend, if you get the opportunity to come onto campus for something like an open day, being able to actually speak to our careers team in person. They've won all these awards for a reason, so I definitely will check them out. I think that's kind of it for most of the stream, really. Do you guys have anything you want to sort of end on? Anything you'd like to say to our viewers?
I guess from my side, it'd just be university life. Some of the best times, really, as well. There's a whole heap of stuff that you'll enjoy by going to university, but most importantly from a careers perspective, is throughout your time is don't waste any of the years. Yeah. I think you've got 3, hopefully 4 years if you choose to do a placement year at university, and sometimes students will go through the journey and they'll leave it until the very end, until they start to speak with different teams, and then the impact that we can make is a lot shorter because we haven't had that time to kind of work with you. So it's actually start to know where your careers teams are based, what's out there, and do that from day one. So while you're straight on campus, come and meet us, get to know us, and we can work with you over the whole time then. So
I would say, speaking to a lot of students, I feel like they always say this is hard, that is hard. At the end of the day, sitting at home and not getting a job is hard, but also applying for a job or working in a high pressure role is hard. So it's like you might as well just do what you want and just go through the hard, because you'd actually find out that actually it's not that hard once you're into it. So, you know, just do it. And worst case scenario, if it fails, you just learn from it and you become better the next time around.
Brilliant, great advice, and best of luck for the future getting into social media and marketing. And I know everyone would have found all your tips and advice really useful today. So yeah, I think that brings us to the end of our live stream. Thank you so much for joining us. If you've got any more questions, they can visit us on our next open day, which is on the 28th of June.
Yeah, hope to see you there. You can chat to these guys. You might even be able to chat to us if you want to. Obviously, we'll be in business and law. You guys will be more centrally, I guess, representing everyone. But obviously, come visit us. Hopefully, we'll see you there. Good luck with your exams, any coursework that you've still got to do, and results day, which is fast approaching. So yeah, thanks everyone. Hopefully, see you again soon.
Bye.